Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chet Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 17th chapter, text number 6 onwards. Just a sec.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Text 6. Yastvam Krishna gate duram sahagandi vadhanvana shochya shochyan rahasi praharan vadam arhasi. So Maharaj Parikshit, when he saw that Shudra dressed as a king and beating up cow and bull, so he is telling him, "You rogue, do you dare beat an innocent cow because Lord Krishna and Arjun, the carrier of the Gandhi bow, are out of sight? Since you are beating the innocent in a secluded place, you are considered a culprit and therefore deserve to be killed." In a civilization where God is conspicuously banished and there is no devotee warrior like Arjun, the associates of the age of Kali take advantage of this lawless kingdom and arrange to kill innocent animals like the cow in secluded slaughterhouses. Such murderers of animals stand to be condemned to death by the order of a pious king like Maharaj Parikshit. For a pious king, the culprit who kills an animal in a secluded place is punishable by the death penalty. It's exactly like a murderer who kills an innocent child in a secluded place. So animals and innocent child, Prabhupada is comparing them to the same because they both cannot protect themselves. They cannot defend themselves. So just imagine if this is the case, so many people in this world today will get death punishment. Can you all hear me properly or is it a problem?
We can hear you, Prabhuji.
We can hear you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Yes, now it's better, bro.
Text 7.
Prabhuji, we can hear you.
Text 7. Tvam va mrinal dhavala padar nyuna padacharan prishrupen kim kashid devo nah parikhedayan. Then he, Maharaj Parikshit, asked the bull, "Oh, who are you? Are you bull as white as a white lotus, or are you a demigod? You have lost 3 of your legs and are moving on only 1. Are you some demigod causing us grief in the form of a bull?" At least up to the time of Maharaj Parikshit, no one could imagine the wretched conditions of the cow and the bull. Maharaj Parikshit therefore was astonished to see such a horrible scene. He inquired whether the bull was not a demigod, assuming such a wretched condition to indicate the future of the cow and the bull. So Maharaj Parikshit could understand this is some demigod, although he didn't quite understand it's Dharma himself who has come in the form of the bull. Text number 8. Na jatu kauravendranam dordand parirambite bhutale anupatanti asmin vinate praninam shuchaha. Now, for the first time in a kingdom well protected by the arms of the kings of the Kuru dynasty, I see you grieving with tears in your eyes. Up till now, no one on earth has ever shed tears because of royal negligence. So that was the kingdom of Maharaj Parikshit. No one has ever shed tears because of royal negligence. The protection of the lives of both the human beings and the animals is the first and foremost duty of a government. A government must not discriminate in such principles. It is simply horrible for a pure-hearted soul to see organized animal killing by the state in this age of Kali. Maharaj Parikshit was lamenting for the tears in the eyes of the bull, and he was astonished to see such an unprecedented thing in his good kingdom. Men and animals were equally protected as far as life was concerned. That is a way in God's kingdom. So men and animals were equally protected as far as life was concerned. Mahasaurabhe yatra shucho vyetu te vrishlat bhayam marodriramba bhadram te khalanam mai shastari. O son of Surabhi, you need lament no longer now. There is no need to fear this low-class Shudra. And O mother cow, as long as I am living as a ruler and subduer of all envious men, there is no cause for you to cry. Everything will be good for you. Protection of bulls and cows and all other animals can be possible only when there is a state ruled by an executive head like Maharaj Parikshit. Maharaj Parikshit addresses the cow as mother, for he is a cultured, twice-born Kshatriya king. Surabhi is the name of the cows which exist in the spiritual planets and are especially revered by Lord Shri Krishna himself. As men are made after the form and features of the Supreme Lord, so also the cows are made after the form and features of the Surabhi cows in the spiritual kingdom. So all the cows are basically made after Surabhi cow. In the material world, the human society gives all protection to the human being, but there is no law to protect the descendants of Surabhi, who can give all protection to men by supplying the miracle food, milk. But Maharaj Parikshit and Pandavas were fully conscious of the importance of the cow and milk, and they were prepared to punish the cow killer with all chastisement, including death. There has sometimes been agitation for the protection of the cow, but for want of pious executive heads and suitable laws, the cow and the bull are not given protection. The human society should recognize the importance of the cow and the bull, and thus give all protection to these important animals, following in the footsteps of Maharaj Parikshit. For protecting the cows and Brahmanical culture, the Lord, who is very kind to the cow and Brahmans, Go Brahmanitaya, will be pleased with us and will bestow upon us the real peace. So this is how important cow protection is. Text 10 and 11. Yasya rashtre praja sarvas trasyante sadva sadhubi tasya mattasya nashyanti kirtir rayur bhago gatihi esh ragyam parodharmo hiyarta namarti nigraha at enam vadhishyami bhut druham asattamam. O chaste one, the king's good name, duration of life, and good rebirth vanish when all kinds of living beings are terrified by miscreants in his kingdom. It is certainly the prime duty of the king to subdue first the sufferings of those who suffer. Therefore, I must kill this most wretched man because he is violent against other living beings. So actually the meaning of Kshatriya is that Kshat Trayate iti Kshatriya. Kshat means an injury. So one who protects others from any injury is a Kshatriya. When there is some disturbance caused by wild animals in a village or a town, the police or others take action to kill them. Similarly, it's a duty of the government to kill at once all bad social elements such as thieves, dacoits, and murderers. The same punishment is also due to animal killers because the animals of the state are also the praja. Praja means one who has taken birth in the state, and this includes both men and animals. Any living being who takes birth in a state has the primary right to live under the protection of the king. The jungle animals are also subject to the king, and thus they also have a right to live. So what to speak of domestic animals like the cows and the bulls? Any living being, if he terrifies other living beings, is a most wretched subject, and the king should at once kill such a disturbing element. As a wild element is killed, a wild animal is killed when it creates disturbances. Similarly, any man who unnecessarily kills or terrifies the jungle animals or other animals must be punished at once. By the law of the Supreme Lord, all living beings, in whatever shape they may be, are the sons of the Lord, and no one has any right to kill another animal unless it is so ordered by the codes of natural law. The tiger can kill a lower animal for his subsistence, but a man cannot kill an animal for his subsistence. That is the law of God, who has created the law that a living being subsists by eating another living being. Thus, the vegetarians are also living by eating other living beings. Therefore, the law is that one should live only by eating specific living beings as ordained by the law of God. The Ishopanishad directs that one should live by the direction of the Lord and not at one's own sweet will. A man can subsist on varieties of grains, fruits, and milk ordained by God, and there is no need of animal food, save and except in particular cases. In particular cases, Prabhupada is saying, is for Shudras or less than Shudras. But that too, some conditions are there. But this wholesale killing, the slaughterhouses, that has to stop. The illusion king or executive head, even though sometimes advertised as a great philosopher and learned scholar, will allow slaughterhouses in the state without knowing that torturing poor animals clears the way to hell for such foolish kings or executive heads. The executive head must always be alert to the safety of the prajas, both man and animal, and inquire whether a particular living being is harassed at any place by another living being. The harassing living being must at once be caught and put to death, as shown by Maharaj Parikshit. So Prabhupada writes long purport on this. The conclusion is that people in the time of Maharaj Parikshit were happy and the animals were given proper protection because the executive head was not whimsical or ignorant of God's law. Foolish, faithless creatures try to avoid the existence of the Lord and proclaim themselves secular at the cost of valuable human life. The human life is especially meant for knowing the signs of God, but foolish creatures, especially in this age of Kali, instead of knowing God, scientifically make propaganda against religious belief as well as the existence of God, even though they're always bound by the laws of God by the symptoms of birth, death, old age, and disease. So foolish people, those atheists, those who have no faith in Krishna, no Krishna's words, they say there is no God. God is dead. Or I have also heard people saying, did God make man or man made God? So they come up with all different kinds of excuses or arguments not to believe in God. But whether they believe in God or not, they have to follow the nature or the laws of God, which is everybody has to go through birth, old age, disease, and death, whether we like it or not. Everybody has to go through Adidevik, Adibhautik, Adhyatmik Klesha, whether we like it or not like it. So better believe in the law of God and follow the laws and get out of this nature, material nature. Text 12. Ko avrishyat tav padan strina saurabhya chatushpada ma bhumvanstva drisha rashtre ragyam krishna anuvartinam. He, Maharaj Parikshit, repeatedly addressed and questioned the bull thus, O son of Surabhi, who has cut off your 3 legs? In the state of kings who are obedient to the laws of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, there is no one as unhappy as you. Purport. The kings or the executive heads of all states must know the codes of Lord Krishna, generally Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and must act accordingly in order to fulfill the mission of human life, which is to make an end to all miseries of material conditions. One who knows the codes of Lord Krishna can achieve this end without any difficulty. In the Bhagavad Gita, in a synopsis, we can understand the codes of Godhead, and in Srimad Bhagavatam, the same codes are explained further. In a state where the codes of Krishna are followed, no one is unhappy. Where such codes are not followed, the first sign is that three legs of the representative of religion are cut off, and thereby all miseries follow. When Krishna was personally present, the codes of Krishna were being followed without question. But in his absence, such codes are presented in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam for the guidance of the blind persons who happen to be at the helm of all affairs. So Bhagavatam and other scriptures are there for, especially for the leaders, to study them, to follow them, and to rule according to the principles given in Bhagavatam. Text 13. Akhya hi vrishbhadram va sadhu nama kritagasam atma vairupya kartaram parthanam kirti dushanam. O bull, you are offenseless and thoroughly honest. Therefore, I wish all good to you. Please tell me of your perpetrator of these mutilations, which blackmail the reputation of the sons of Pritha. The reputation of the reign of Maharaj Ramchandra and that of the kings who followed in the footsteps of Maharaj Ramchandra, like the Pandavas and their descendants, are never to be forgotten, because in the kingdom, offenseless and honest living beings were never in trouble. The bull and cow are the symbols of the most offenseless living beings, because even the stool and urine of these animals are utilized to benefit human society. The descendants of the sons of Pritha, like Maharaj Parikshit, were afraid of losing their reputations. But in the modern days, the leaders are not even afraid of killing such offenseless animals. Herein lies a difference between the reign of those pious kings and the modern states ruled by irresponsible executive heads without knowledge of the codes of God. So again and again, Prabhupada is coming back to the same theme, that the modern executive heads, they're very irresponsible, they don't know the scriptures, they don't know the codes of God, and basically for allowing this mass slaughter of animals, they'll all go to hell. Text 14. Jane anaghasya gham yunjan sarvato asya cha madbhayam sadhunam bhadram evasya sadhu damane krite. Whoever causes offenseless living beings to suffer must fear me anywhere and everywhere in the world. By curbing dishonest miscreants, one automatically benefits the offenseless. Dishonest miscreants flourish because of cowardly and impotent executive heads of state. But when the executive heads are strong enough to curb all sorts of dishonest miscreants in any part of the state, certainly they cannot flourish. When the miscreants are punished in an exemplary manner, automatically all good fortune follows. As said before, it's a prime duty of the king or the executive head to give protection in all respects to the peaceful, offenseless citizens of the state. The devotees of the Lord are by nature peaceful and offenseless, and therefore it's a prime duty of the state to arrange to convert everyone to become a devotee of the Lord. So this should be the real purpose of the government actually. But first they have to become devotees themselves. Why? Because a devotee of the Lord is by nature peaceful and offenseless. Thus automatically they will be peaceful, offenseless citizens. Then the only duty of the king will be to curb the dishonest miscreants. That will bring about peace and harmony all over human society. Anagasri bhuteshu yagaskrinnirankushaha ahartasmi bhujam sakshad amartyasyapi sangadam. An upstart living being who commits offenses by torturing those who are offenseless shall be directly uprooted by me, even though he be a denizen of heaven with armor and decorations. The denizens of heavenly kingdom are called Amar or deathless due to the possessing a long span of life, far greater than that of the human beings. For a human being who has only a maximum 100-year duration of life, a span of life spreading over millions of years is certainly considered to be deathless. So they are considered deathless, not because they are deathless, but they live for such a long span of life that they can be called deathless. Compared to human beings, demigods, they live for such a long span. For example, from Bhagavad Gita, we learn that on Brahmaloka planet, the duration of one's day is calculated to be 4.3 billion times 1000 solar years, or 4.3 million. Yeah, 4.3 million. Similarly, in other heavenly planets, one day is calculated to be 6 months of this planet, and inhabitants get a life of 10 million of their years. Maharaj Parikshit challenges even such denizens of heaven if they torture the offenseless. This means that the state executive head must be as strong as Maharaj Parikshit so that he may be determined to punish the strongest offenders. It should be the principle of a state executive head that the offender of the courts of God is always punished. So for that, first he has to follow the codes of God. And then he can implement those. Text 16. Ragyo hi paramo dharma swadharma sthanu palanam shasato anyana yatha shastram anabdyut pathan iha. The supreme duty of the ruling king is to give all protection to the law-abiding persons and to chastise those who stray from the ordinances of the scriptures in ordinary times when there is no emergency. In the scripture, there is mention of apada dharma, apada dharma, or occupational duty at times of extraordinary happenings. It is said sometimes the great sage Vishwamitra had to live on the flesh of dogs in some extraordinary, dangerous position. In the case of emergency, one may be allowed to live on the flesh of animals of all description, but that does not mean that there should be regular slaughterhouses to feed the animal eaters, and this system should be encouraged by the state. No one should try to live on flesh in ordinary times, simply for the sake of the palate. If anyone does so, the king or the executive head should punish him for gross enjoyment. There are regular scriptural injunctions for different persons engaged in different occupational duties, and one who follows them is called Swadharmastha, or faithful in one's prescribed duties. In Bhagavad Gita, it is advised that one should not give up his occupational prescribed duties, even they are not always flawless. Such Swadharma might be violated in cases of emergency if one is forced by circumstances, but they cannot be violated in ordinary times. So this is what Maharaj Parikshit is saying. This is not an exceptional time. So how come these codes were violated by this person Kali? So we'll stop here because from text 17, the bull will start speaking. So we'll hear him tomorrow. And so we'll stop here, see anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have a question from the previous chapter, verse number 36. It talks about how the pangs of separation was there from the earth, where earth is speaking. So over there, it is discussed about Queen Satyabhama. So it's just a very silly question. While I was reading, it just came to my mind that why is it discussed about Satyabhama? Why not Rukmini or other queens? I mean, why Satyabhama only? So if you can just clarify, Prabhuji.
See, Satyabhama, Queen Satyabhama, she has a special mood towards Krishna. She, in Dwarka, she had the special mood that she would get angry with Krishna if Krishna didn't appease her. Other queens, they were like, okay, it doesn't matter whether you are with us, whether you take care of us or not, it doesn't matter, we are your servants. But not Satyabhama. She was in a different mood. So that's why her name is given in so many verses. That she would feel the pangs of separation, she would get angry at Krishna, she would do really man, what is called man, she would do that. That's why to appease her,
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Krishna had to go to heaven and fight with Indra and to get that Parijata tree just to please Satyabhama. So she is very special. In fact, now you talked about Satyabhama, she came as Jagadanand Pandit in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, Gaur Leela. And Jagadanand Pandit was with Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. And he obviously he carried this mood of Satyabhama with him because he was Satyabhama in Krishna Leela. So he would really get angry with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for not following his request or his dealings. Like once Jagadanand Pandit, although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a sannyasi, so Jagadanand Pandit got him a very fragrant sandalwood oil. Jagadanand's mood was that I want to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, as a sannyasi, I cannot let you apply sandalwood oil on me. It's so fragrant. And sannyasi is supposed to be renounced. He should not have all these things. Jagadanand Pandit got so angry at him. And he had not just like a little tiny bottle of that sandalwood oil. He had a whole pot of sandalwood oil. And he threw it all away. He just broke the pot on ground. And Mahaprabhu was so afraid of Jagadanand Pandit that he like, if I say something and he will get angry. And Jagadanand Pandit would not eat for many days after that when he would be angry. Because he carried the mood of Satyabhama with him. So Mahaprabhu, he said, I'm a sannyasi, I cannot do this, but Jagadanand Pandit makes me do all sorts of nonsense things. But Jagadanand's mood was, I want to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I want to make sure that he eats properly, that he takes rest properly. So his mood was that. So that is the mood of Queen Satyabhama.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Okay, Mata. Okay, thank you all very much. You all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.